How's it going, everyone? It's your girl Stella, but you can call me Sandy. Creepypastas! Never thought I'd ever find myself really ever talking about them to any extent on this channel. Now, the idea of creepypastas, or just internet horror stories in general, has grown and evolved in so many ways over the years, changing from images and text on screen to whatever the hell the analog horror space on YouTube is now. But scary stories to read on your phone in the dark come in many flavors, and they span all the way back to the lawless wastes of the internet that were the late 2000s and early 2010s. But when you think about it, you never really hear about those stories that were popular back then outside of small niches nowadays. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you've unironically heard about Slender Man, Jeff the Killer, or Ben Drowned in any larger capacity? But one particular creepypasta from this early ages managed to not only stand the test of time, but has gone through what I could best describe as a whole-ass internet rewrite and redemption, and that story is Sonic.exe. Now, don't get me wrong, there's always been a fan base for this story, just like with the creepypastas I mentioned before, but none of those stories I mentioned have gone through as many avenues of reiteration, rewriting, and growth that this goofy, bleeding-eyed rendition of Sega's mascot has gone through in the almost 2 decades of its known existence. And for a long time, I just never understood why people would be such massive fans of this thing, to the point where there's mods, games, and an entire extended fucking universe surrounding this goofy-ass story. But then, something dropped on Halloween of last year that made me change my mind. I legit had a Danny DeVito moment where, as I witnessed it, I began to understand it to the point where I too became a full-blown fan of this silliness. And that was the music album named Sinister Minds. Yep, that's right. I'm becoming a music review channel for this one video because I need to display just how absolutely fire this album is, despite the fact that the entire album is focused on this new rendition of the Sonic.exe character. So sit back, relax, and put in some earbuds, or headphones, or speakers if you want more people to listen in, and prepare yourself for Sinister Minds. I feel like before we dig into this album, we need to kind of catch everyone up to speed on just what it is we're talking about, who the maker is, and just how wild everything really is surrounding the source material here. But if you already know about this, or you just don't care and want to get to the actual album dissection and rating, you can skip this. Unless you're in the premiere, in which case, well, get comfy as this gets lengthy. So first we have the original story, Sonic.exe, which was uploaded over, wow, almost 15 years ago. Jesus, I feel old. Now this story, in retrospect, is awful. So awful, in fact, that damn near everyone has likely already done a whole dissection on just how bad this story is. The short explanation of what happens is some guy gets a cursed copy of a Sonic game from his friend who begs him to destroy the disc. The guy ignores the warnings, proceeds to freak out at the dumbest stuff. Some mildly scary stuff involving this demon Sonic slaughtering his friends in the game happens, and then the story ends with a creepy Sonic plushie appearing out of nowhere. Again, it's really not scary or good, and half of it just makes no fucking sense at all, even just from a realistic standpoint. But this story was popular enough for people to make whole fan games based off of it, which were, well, they were okay. Later on, they evolved to have more to them than just walking from left to right, but beyond that, they're not particularly noteworthy, outside the fact that it's one of the first games I know of that pulled a one-shot and used your desktop name in the game. But that was only the beginning. There was even an unofficial sequel made called Sally.exe, which was more the same thing except with a different main character, and it kind of sort of focused on a cursed fusion of a pirated copy of the Sonic Underground series and a different cursed copy of Sonic.exe. But even this story got a game, and again, it's similar to the Sally.exe story, so there's really not much to talk about there. Hey there, editing still, So, Sally.exe, apparently, at least the original story, was a ripoff of a kind of shit YouTube video. So, yeah, there you go. At least that's just brilliant. Though I guess that kind of falls in line with a lot of weird plagiarism stuff with the original Sonic.exe stories made by some of the original authors. Not the new ones, though, thankfully. But the idea of the actual main guy in the album, Lord.exe, comes from the official sequel to Sonic.exe. Or at least one of the official sequels. Oh, you don't know that there were 2 sequels made by the original author? Well, there was! And I only stumbled across it because I forgot the name of the official sequel and just searched Sonic.exe sequel, and it was like the first or second option down. Now, how good is the scrapped sequel? Well, not good. Basically, just a rehash of what happened in the first story, following a different character who knew the 2 characters in the first story, and with more Sonic characters getting murdered, and for some reason one of the characters speaking directly to the main character through text chat. Oh yeah, and somehow an even worse ending. But what about the actual official sequel that introduced Lord.exe, or in this case, just X? No, not that. Well, that story is somehow the worst of the 3. It follows the diary entries of the world's worst detective as he learns that there's a cult surrounding the game. The game houses a Lovecraftian old one named X, who for literally no reason decided to represent himself with the body of Sonic the Hedgehog, and a whole bunch of other unimportant lore shit comes up that literally nobody has ever brought up unironically since the story's creation. Like, seriously, does anyone remember the 7 deadly guardians that X has that all have vaguely Japanese-esque names? Because of fucking course they do. Yeah, that's what I thought. Hey, they're editing still again for like the last time during this history section, thankfully. There apparently was an official remake of the first story that was made at some point before the author came under fire, and it wasn't good. It's only maybe slightly better than the sequel, but fuck, it was boring. Now, why am I so harsh on these original stories? Well, 1, the original author of the first story and the official sequels, JC the Hyena, turned out to be a child groomer, and 2nd, these stories are so unbelievably goofy that I both understand how they garnered a cult following, but at the same time I don't understand how it survived for as long as it did. But hey, ever since that came out, the ownership of Sonic.exe ended up getting handed over to a significantly better person, and from then on, everything revolving around this character became what I like to call the Sonic.exe extended universe, because holy hell, there are so many iterations of this goofy demon hedgehog. And surprisingly enough, what really has sprung this whole extended universe back into the internet limelight was the Versus Sonic.exe Friday Night Funkin' mod. Now, despite the fact that this game is essentially dead until the devs remembered that it exists, and the fact that damn near every lead of any big FNF mod turned out to be on the JC the Hyena grind set, this mod was one of those mods that you legit couldn't escape from, especially after its major update that added like a fuck ton more into it. Even though I'd only listened to like 2 of the tracks in it unironically, I can respect the mod for basically fully reigniting the craze surrounding Sonic.exe as a whole, and ever since this mod, there have been, like, more iterations of this character. And I also have this little footnote here that says, there was also a Roblox ASIM game called Outcome Memories that was created from this popularity of the Sonic.exe characters, and it got cancelled because the leadership got rid of their best developer. Oh, fuck off. And it's not even that bad of a game either, like, unlike its elder game, Forsaken. But hey, there's worse things about Forsaken than just the gameplay, so the fact that the worst part of Outcome Memories is that the leadership was just fucking brain dead is both relieving and very telling about the current state of big Roblox games. But what does this have to do with the album, aside from both of them being about music? Well, that's where we get into the lead composer of the album, Churgny Gurgny. Yes, that is his name. Some people shorten it to Sturm for some reason, so I don't know how to refer to him without it sounding unserious as hell. Now, Churgny has been making music for quite some time, with him having made some tracks for a completely different FNF mod that, I mean, is kind of his, called Hit Single Reel, with the earliest upload of his work on it featuring, you guessed it, the Lord.exe character as the main opponent. And this track, funnily enough, has a small motif that I want you to keep in mind for when we actually get into the album.
It's been a wild ride. I thank you for your time. Peer deep into my eyes and see I'm joyous to be.
But beyond that, he wouldn't really make another track for it for a while, but he did do some lyrical adaptations of well, a couple of tracks from the Sonic.exe mod, so there's our first direct connection somewhat. But his next track for hit single would be yet another Lord X track, which doesn't really have any motifs to look out for, but it's important to note that Cherkny is no stranger to making music surrounding the Lord X character. However, the one track that really blew him up was his fourth or so composition to hit single, Silly Billy, which has a pretty hard as fuck chorus, not gonna lie. But guess what? That motif comes from a completely different track also made by Cherkny called Subterfuge, and you guessed it, it's another track related to the Sonic.exe universe. Then there's also this rewrite of Cycles from the Sonic.exe mod, which is actually pretty damn good, surprisingly enough, and is also related to the fact that damn near everything that this guy has made leads back to Lord X in some fashion. But none of this has to do with the album, I hear you typing on your overexpensive keyboards and overpriced iPhones. Don't worry, I'm finally getting into it, just be patient. The first ever hint that there was an album coming from this guy was from a year ago, when the official music video for I Miss the Quiet dropped, which I only discovered from another Roblox game. See, everything's connected here. And holy shit, is it awesome. Like, what the hell do you mean there's a vaguely Michael Jackson-esque song utilizing the Sonic CD sound font, featuring an old creepypasta that actually slaps, and has a double meaning because the main character is a villain? This is the kind of shit that could only come to me in a fever dream, and I'm loving it. And after this, 2 more tracks dropped. Big Misser and Gleeko. Only one of these ever ended up actually in the album, while the other was rewritten and repurposed into another track on the album, but both of these tracks are absolute bangers as well. Then there is an entirely unused and unfinished track that was meant to be in the album called What Could It Be?, which somehow they weren't proud of, and it might have been the missing track 13 in the album, but what the fuck, it sounds like a banger too. But then we fast forward to Halloween of last year with the album's release. I hear one track and listen to the rest. Blah, blah, blah. Here we go into where we are now, where I finally get into dissecting this album and giving you my honest opinion on it. So how about we actually get into that? Now, before we begin, I'm going to tell you what this section is going to be made up of. Firstly, a dissection of each track, their meanings, and how good they are. And second, 2 different rankings. Why 2? Well, obviously this first one is for the actual tracks themselves, as the rating doesn't go below a B for any of them. This one is obviously based on just how good each song is and how much I like them. The second ranking is based on the costumes for each appearance of our singers here, as each track has our boy Lord.exe along with any other characters featured in the album in different outfits. You'll notice this ranking goes to a C, and that's because some of the outfits are pretty goofy. Now, I will make it perfectly crystal clear that I am not ragging on the artist who made the stills here, as holy fuck, they're talented no matter how silly the costumes get. So, if anyone says that I'm attacking the artist who made the stills, I can only assume that they did not pay attention to this part for whatever reason. Alright, we're good on the structure here? Good, let's go. Our first track is Welcome Home. It's mainly just a short instrumental track ending with Lord.exe appearing and saying, "I've missed you."
I've missed you, old friend.
Honestly, not a lot to get into. Obviously quite menacing from the ending, and a good way to set up the fact that not every track is what it seems on the surface. Overall, it's a B, since it's not really that long and it's more of an introductory track, but it's not bad, obviously. In terms of the costume, C rank. Put some clothes on when you greet me, Lord.exe. At least take me to dinner first. Alright, now we get to the actual first track. I Miss the Quiet. Yes, the same track that my friend used as the end credits of the first video I voiced in from her is also the first track on the album, and my god, it is still a banger no matter how many times I hear it. Like I said earlier, this track clearly takes quite a bit of inspiration from pop artists like Michael Jackson and whatnot, much like a lot of tracks on this album, but the snappiness, the beat, the chorus, and oh my god, the chorus is fucking sick. Just kick that shit. Hell yes! Probably the best opening track of any album ever, but what does it all mean? Well, on the surface, the song seems like a track about missing quieter and simpler times, so just still finding time to relish in the present. But we have to remember that the singer here is, for lack of a better word, a demon here. So there is certainly another meaning here. Well, that second meaning isn't really all that different, as it's more of Lord.exe missing the quiet times of the void he was born in, but still relishes and celebrates in the twisted game world that he's created for himself and those he's trapped there with him. With him even having a point where he addresses someone specific, talking about how they more than likely missed their quiet life before they were stuck there in Lord.exe's game. It's twisted, but that's what I love about this song, and that energy keeps going throughout most of the album, so keep that in mind. The track itself, easiest triple S tier ever. The vocals are golden, the instrumentals of the Sonic CD sound font is something I will never grow tired of, and overall is the perfect way to kick off an album. The outfit? Also a solid S tier. It's a cleaner rendition of the suit he wore in the music video visualizer with just a couple more additional flares to keep it original, and it's obviously a callback to one of Michael Jackson's outfits he wore at concerts, so honestly I can't complain about it. Up next is You Must Answer. This track starts with this grand rise before dropping us right into the menace that is this track, and oh boy, that menacing mafia boss energy carries on throughout the entire track, and it's pretty damn good. This is one of those tracks that has Lord.exe on the offense, attempting to entice someone into joining his world by playing on their curiosity, and that eventually and inevitably they will have to answer the call to look further beyond the point of no return, with the awesome chorus to accompany the urgency of this subject to make their decision. And each time this chorus plays, it gets more and more urgent and almost desperate at times, and it's unironically cool as hell. Overall, this track sits comfortably at S tier. It's very straightforward, and the chorus and the instrumental is pretty simple and catchy, so it's a great follow-up to the first track. The outfit, it gets an A tier. Fits the vicious vibe of the song, well, but my only complaint is that most of it blends in with the background, making it hard to read at times. Maybe that's intentional given the use of two-tone colors for the art, but who the fuck knows. Next up, Minds. You might already recognize this one if you've watched my Entropy02 video, as I used it for the credits. This is the first track featuring another character backing up Lord.exe for the song, in this case being Majin Sonic, and this is a track that had me fall in love with the album because there's just so much to dig into and dissect. The chorus is heavenly, the instrumentals are snappy and high energy to match the song, and holy fuck, Majin's lines just go hard as hell. And let's not forget about the freedom leitmotif that shows up like halfway through to really tie together just how both goofy the premise of this album is, but also just how aware it is of that. It's just, mwah, chef's kiss. What does it all mean? Well, the track is a bit of a back and forth between Lord.exe and Majin, with Lord.exe lamenting the fact that his world grows lonely without new people in it, and how few seem to care nowadays, while Majin tells him to swallow his pride and enjoy the chaos that comes with just how unpredictable people can be. But the flip side of the track naturally comes from the name, Minds. It could also be a track about the human mind and how many are conflicted with the world and its nature, but ultimately coming to the conclusion that if change has to be made, sometimes they have to take matters into their own hands and carve a new path no matter how dreadful and unkind the world can be. It's a perfect summation of the album as a whole, and I consider this to be the track that gave the album its name, which I think is perfect. So, onto the ranking. Easy triple S, divine chorus, awesome instrumentals, and the genuinely awesome lyrics are the reason I even decided to listen to the full album in the first place. So I think it'd be criminal to not give it the highest spot that I can give it. The outfits? Also S tier. I'm ranking them both together as they're mirror images of each other, and it plays so well into the theme of this track, and oh my god, they're just so fucking snazzy even without the meanings within. Now, on to the next track, Big Misser. This one is possibly the highest energy track in the whole album, backed by an equally short runtime of just under 4 minutes. And it's no wonder why this one was one of the promotional tracks for the album, because again, it fucks hard! Kick that shit, editor! Now, what in the hell is it even all about? Well, again, it's pretty straightforward. It's Lord.exe enticing another person, or maybe even the listener, to join his world by playing on their fear of missing out. Talking about how they're missing out on the fun of his world, and how his world is just so incomplete without them being a part of it. It's so direct, but it's just still so fucking cool. Ranking, again, triple S. Despite its name, it certainly doesn't miss, and I feel like the track just speaks for itself on just why it deserves this spot. The outfit? A tier. It's pretty cool with Lord.exe seeming to be splitting his own vessel apart to reveal himself within, but the only reason it isn't higher because I feel like could have had a little bit more visually. I don't know what though. It certainly feels like there's something missing. Oh well. Anyways, next up is another duo track called I Did That. This track feels like one of those bad boy pop music tracks, and honestly, it really works. But the truly wacky part is I'm sorry, I'm laughing about this one, but trust me, this is serious, is when fucking Bendy shows up and starts spitting bars for absolutely no reason. No, seriously, take a listen. Now, what's going on in this one? Well, we have a bit of a story here being told of Lord.exe enticing someone to join his game by reinforcing that he's been there for them for longer than they knew, and that he's got their back, only to trap them in his endless game world, all while still saying that he's been and will continue to be their friend all throughout eternity. It's vicious, it's sinister, and the Bendo section seems to almost be mocking the subject's state of mind to try and find a way out of Lord.exe's game, and it all blends just so well together. Overall, the track is a solid double S. Solid instrumentals and lyrics, delightfully sinister in nature. Only reason it isn't higher is just because Bendo shows up for one song and is just never brought up again. Outfit-wise, Lord.exe is absolutely dripped out to fit the vibe of the song and absolutely wins an S tier. Bendo, on the other hand, he's alright. Not as dripped out, but has a solid costume for his one appearance. B tier. Now we're on to Meat Show. Come on, stop giggling. I can hear you laughing, girl. This song comes in two parts, as it's yet another duo track. First part is this kind of 80s-esque dance club synth track with Lord.exe as the lead, but then halfway through the entire tone just shifts to this lower synth-heavy instrumental as a new player joins the album, Red Glove. Now, unlike the previous characters before, I knew nothing about this character, so I had to consult the experts at the Sonic Oddities Wiki, yes, this is a thing, to help me figure out what Red Glove's importance is to the whole EXE verse, and I don't know, he's pretty interesting. More or less, he's just some entity that took one of Lord.exe's old vessels and stuck along with Lord.exe as he thought that he was cool. That's kind of it, and it's pretty neat. But back to the song, the Red Glove segment is so cool. It's like some music you'd wave a lighter around during a concert, and I'm living for it. Now, this was the track that was gonna be Gleeko, and it's pretty obvious when you listen to the two side by side, but the vibe and meaning of both are quite different, obviously. Speaking of the meaning, what does it all mean? Well, again, we have Lord.exe trying to give another shot at bringing someone into his game, ultimately leaving them on the ultimatum that they either shred their current state to join Lord.exe's world or decay as they are, before handing the reins to Red Glove to almost hypnotize the subject, telling them to give in and slip into the new world, as there's nothing in the current world as majestic or worthy as the world that Lord.exe has made. Whoever the subject is, they really want them to join, which is why I believe this track is certainly directed towards us as the listener rather than anyone else specifically. So what's my verdict on this song? Easy double S. First part is so fucking catchy, and the Red Glove segment is just an absolute vibe. My honest only complaint is that I wish Lord.exe's segment was just the slightest bit longer, as I feel like the Red Glove segment gets the spotlight for a little too long. But it's not to a point where I think it's knocked down by any further, obviously. Outfit-wise, Lord X gets a good S rank. The track jacket is just beautiful, and Red Glove gets an A tier. It's a solid suit. My only problem is that when I first watched it, I initially thought he wasn't wearing anything beyond gloves and shoes for some reason. Just goes to show just how fucking blind I can be sometimes. Now, we're on to beauty, and wow, it's, dare I say, quite beautiful. It has this kind of almost love song vibe to it, and it's just a genuine vibe through and through, and oh my god, the chorus at the end is just the most heavenly part of the album thus far. I mean, just, fuck it, take a listen. So, what does it all mean? Well, it's the average Twitter user's worst nightmare. It's about Lord X affirming the existence of a trans woman to bring her into his world. Even if it weren't for the fact that this was confirmed by the lead composer himself, the entire track is obviously Lord X singing about how he'll give someone the body and comfort that they want if they just heed his call, which is obviously where the double meaning comes in. Yes, it's Lord X being a trans ally, but obviously he's doing so to bring someone into his world. The subject gets what they want, a body that reflects who they are on the inside, but at the cost of being trapped in whatever hellish nightmare dimension Lord X has created, subject to whatever horrors he'll put her through. It's genuinely vicious, and I fucking love it. And hey, as a trans woman myself, I think I speak for all of us who've listened to this song that we'd probably just take the offer anyways. Overall, easy triple S tier. No notes, deserves this spot, and I don't have to justify why. Outfit-wise, also the highest S tier I can give. It perfectly fits the song all while looking tripped out as fuck. Again, just no further notes, we're moving on. Next up is Scars. This one's a pretty short one and full of emotion, especially for Lord X. Honestly, not a lot to get into, aside from the fact that this track seems to be about someone who either escaped his influence or even found a way out of his game, and lamenting the loss and the kind of person that this subject was. Music-wise, it gets a solid A tier. Originally, I would have given it a lower ranking due to it seeming a little out of place, especially for the track preceding it, but I've grown to appreciate it more. Outfit? I don't know, he's not wearing anything. C tier. What'd I tell you about putting clothes on, Lord X? Next up, The Fire Rises. Oh boy, what a tonal shift fitting only for Lord X himself. From the end of the previous track, we're hit with a literally explosive and menacing intro, all building up to the actual track, and oh boy is it good. Well, the intro does throw you around a bit in terms of its tone. I think it's fitting for the track itself, as it seems to be Lord X detailing the nature of his world, and how dread and demise are just part of the greater plan in store. And oh my fucking god, the chorus just emphasizes this, all while hitting like a freight train. Overall, solid double S. It's awesome, it's a huge way to follow up scars, and it gives us so much about the world of Lord X, all while leaving just enough out for interpretation. Outfit? S tier. He looks like an evil train conductor that's going straight to hell itself, which is honestly fitting, and that cane just gives him bonus points. Up next, Sinister. This is the only track not featuring Lord X in any way, starring Majin as our lead vocalist, and oh wow is it an absolute banger. The Michael Jackson influence returns in full force with this track, with catchy and snappy bass lines and explosive drums, all wrapped in a delightful 80s pop song bow. But this is yet another double feature, as we get a surprise, one-time only guest star of Boundless A Games, which upon consulting the wiki on who they are, oh wow, fucking brilliant. Nobody knows anything about him, but hey, this segment slaps hard. Editor, kick that shit up. But what is it all about? Well, my guess is that some characterization of Majin in this whole universe. Well, here he is still a god of chaos of some kind. He prefers the chaos that mankind can produce, encouraging them to carve their winding and maddening paths no matter what lies in their way. Overall, easiest triple S since Beauty. I can feel myself breaking it down just by talking about this song. Outfits? For Majin, he gets an S tier. Hell, the outfit is literally what I base the thumbnail on, so why wouldn't I give it an S? Boundless gets an A tier. It's just a straight jacket, but the floating tendrils produced by the straps of the jacket elevate this outfit past a B, so yeah. My only complaint is I just wish I knew more about the guy, so yeah. Up next is Feel That Dread. Our first multilingual track here starts slow, then blasts you at the chorus, and the energy rarely wanes after that point. It's pretty damn good. Now, I did say it's multilingual, and I mean at the halfway point he has a sequence where he sings in Spanish. Now, since I'm a filthy white gal that knows a collective maybe 7 words in Spanish, I consulted the comments to see if anyone was able to translate this, and could possibly even help me, and thankfully the comments came in clutch so I can further dissect the song without a language barrier stopping me. Ha-ha! But to dissect the composition further, we also get a surprise reiteration of Big Misser towards the end of it to fit the tone of this track. So, what's going on? Well, we have Lord X and all his omnipotence actually fearing that people will find their way away from him and that he will find himself alone again as he was in the void. With the Spanish section talking about how he's put so much work into this world and himself and his appearance, and yet he finds people unwilling to follow him into the dark. A song about a god experiencing depression. Come on, this is an easy double S tier. I really have nothing more to say. The outfit? He just looks like he's gotten right home from an office job, which I can only imagine would be just as soul-crushing as retail, so for the sake of relatability, it gets an S tier. Next up is Runaway. Oh wow, what an opener. So this track features what I could best describe as Lord.exe, before he properly became Lord.exe. I'll talk more about it in a bit, but we got music to dig into before I bore you with my interpretation. So, it's very reminiscent of late 2000s pop music this time, strangely, but again, it works like a miracle and just overall works in a way I never even thought possible. And, oh, the chorus. Oh god, the chorus. Play that shit, editor.
And they'll come running to the windows, peering in and crying out the martyrs. Pray with me and stay the course of our expansion ever farther. Set my lips to walk and see the rise. I want the friend that I will be. Only justifying just that little cost to entry.
But what makes this track even more interesting is that halfway through it just slows down to this almost melancholic song, and it hits like honestly nothing else I've listened to before. But what's the meaning? Well, this version, known as 2011-exe, is the X we're more or less acquainted with if you only know about the creepypasta, but it's written a little bit less worse here. He is a monster here, a demon, a creature that boasts about how godlike he is to the point where he proclaims himself to be the one and only, and yet halfway through he realizes he wants more from this than just mindless violence. Here we witness the birth of Lord.exe through the song, and... oh god. Am I actually giving a shit about an old shitty creepypasta character? Am I actually interested in this character and how he developed from a monster into a semi-sadistic game master? Is this... Am I actually enjoying a character I once made fun of? Oh, I need to sit down. This song, it gets my highest praise. Triple S tier. If Minds is what made me fall in love with the album, this is the track that made me a fan of the character itself beyond the music. Outfit? I don't know, like a B tier. 2011-exe just looks like he's going out to grab a midnight snack at Wawa, so I don't really have much to say here.
When I am gone, what becomes of the want to see myself? I'll run away.
Up next we have Red-Handed. This song wastes no time in setting up the tone. Fast-paced, snappy, and fucking awesome through and through, with quite possibly one of the best choruses in the album. Fuck it, I'm not even gonna waste time. Play it!
No, I've got my hands on the one that you love, watching you try to fight, but it isn't ever quite enough. Do the things that are freeing me, put you upon the dark. If it brought you an empty clean coat of the heart, watch it stairs on a dime until the beating stops at your sharp on such a done life. And then the case with the rolls on either side again, and never ending as you go for your extra.
However, we not only have another cameo track, but our second multilingual track, with Red Glove making another appearance to have a part in German, and this is where we get into what this could all mean. This is probably the most mask-off that Lord.exe has been for the whole album, taking delight in the hopelessness of those trapped in his game, and Red Glove kind of appearing to mock the victims by reminding them that biding their time until an escape presents itself won't help them at all. It's the most vicious that Lord.exe gets in this album, and you know what? It's awesome to see him relish in how he's been caught red-handed in his longer schemes here. Overall, again, easiest triple S ever given. The ending of the track just further emphasizes this listing. Outfits? Lord.exe gets an S. I mean, come on, that's his drippiest outfit in the entire album. And the glowing eyes just tie it all together. Red Glove? No, little German boy, don't go into beats here! I haven't even given a proper evaluation yet! Anyway, our penultimate track is called One Last Ask. There's no lyrics to get into, it's just a peaceful instrumental I hear many saying upon a first listen, but the lyrics are hidden away for this one. Thankfully someone already did the hard work for me. But the track itself is just a peaceful instrumental for the first listen, and it's absolutely divine. But the few hidden lyrics within have Lord.exe making one last faint attempt to bring us closer to him and his world. There's really not much else. It gets a double S tier. It's beautiful all throughout, and it's almost enough to bring me to tears. And since we don't really have a physical appearance for Lord.exe here, we'll just skip the outfit evaluation and move right on to... Oh yeah, I did say penultimate, didn't I? There's an encore waiting for us at the end, and it comes in the form of this track. It's full force in every primary inspiration, with the jiggy bass lines of Michael Jackson's final work, backup vocals reminiscent of Beauty's inspirations, and just overall a great final breakdown medley of every track we've heard up until now. And I do mean every track. There's references to every song throughout this entire track, and it works just so well as an encore for the whole album. The chorus, oh my god, just fuck it, take a listen. Fuck. Yes! It's beautiful, it's groovy, it's got everything you came to the album for in just one final send-off. So what is it all about? Well, I believe that this track is most definitely addressed to us, specifically. Every teaser for the album had this phrase at the end of the description, "Don't come back." Even the end of the last song ends with a fade to black with just this title being the only thing visible. It's our reward for our curiosity, a final push for Lord.exe to bring us in, and when it all fails, he tells us to not bother coming back, as he knows that trying to convince us is pointless if we weren't already convinced before. It's absolutely stunning, and when I first heard this track for myself, I was just blown the fuck away by how in-your-face it all is, and I'm all here for it. Triple S tier all the way. There has never been a better send-off in any album I've heard before, and it's a perfect way to round off an album about Lord.exe. The outfit? Also S tier, a beautiful summation of everything we've witnessed before, all tied together in the snazziest suit I've seen ever. I just have no further notes. And with that, we conclude our time with Sinister Minds. So, how can an album change a person's mind? Well, apparently very easily when it's done well. This whole album, even if you aren't familiar with the subject matter or the character at all, is a genuine delight to listen to from beginning to end, especially if you're a fan of 80s pop-style music, as it hit every note, for lack of a better word, unbelievably well. It's an album that turned me from disliking the character in it to actually having genuine interest enough to even look into it further and make this whole ass video with the knowledge that I have. And if that doesn't convince you to give this goofy album a listen for yourself, I'll be honest, I don't know what will. But with that, this has been Stel, and as always, thanks for watching. Well, again, I find myself doing something enjoyable in hell. But I can't just stick around here forever. Eventually, poorly cropped Enoch is just gonna pop up and throw me into something mildly inconvenient. I gotta find my way out of hell.
Find your way out of hell? Don't you understand how hell works by now?
The fuck are you? Why the hell do you look like me?
Not important, Stel. What is important is the offer I have for you.
Oh, you're Lord X, aren't ya? Jeez, am I running out of antagonist ideas? Well, whatever. I'm not dumb enough to take whatever goofy deal you have, because I just got done explaining how you work.
I know you're no fool, Stel, but I think we both know you and your friend don't belong here. Yet.
So, where are you going with this?
Simple. I give you the knowledge of the way out. In exchange, I postpone the worst this realm has to offer so you and your friend can escape. Do we have a deal?
So, I get to know where the exit is, I just have to act faster? That doesn't seem too bad. Fuck it. Not like I have much of a choice, just seems like more of what I'm used to. Deal.